Good afternoon and welcome. I have the honor and the privilege to interview before you Kavya Kopparapu. I think at the end of this interview you will be as impressed and enamored of her and her incredible science as I am. So here we go. So Kavya, start by telling me, I read your bio, as many here have, and we are so impressed with what you have accomplished at this young age. Start by telling us what ignites your passion for your research in cancer.
I think one thing about cancer, as we've talked about a lot during the summit, is that it affects everybody at some point in their life, whether it's personally or family or friends. And I think being able to research and tackle such a disease that has such an impact on everybody is an opportunity to make a positive difference in the lives of many. And so that's something that makes me really passionate about finding a solution for some of the really hard problems in cancer.
And we talked earlier, I'd talk about urgency of now. You didn't wait until you got a grant when you were researching at a university. You didn't wait until you got your PhD. You didn't wait till you finished college. You didn't even wait until you finished high school. So this is clearly an urgency for now. What drives that?
So I think it all boils down to some of the alarming statistics that we've all read about cancer. For me, it was a statistic that in the past 30 years, the prognosis for patients diagnosed with aggressive brain cancer has not improved. And to me, that was mind-blowing because we know so much more about the brain. We know so much more about different surgical techniques and about treatments. And so the fact that we haven't gotten any better at treating these aggressive cancers is something that really drives me. And I think that's something that needs to be solved right now. Kind of in part of my research, I've been looking at different case studies of different patients. And one of the patients I saw was 17 years old. And at the time, I was 17 years old. And so it was like a moment of thinking, wow, that could be me. It's something that needs to be solved right now so that no 17-year-old ever has to deal with something like this again.
So I've read about your research. It is really compelling. I know you have a special opportunity amongst the many rewards and awards and recognitions that you've had to have a special one from the Davidson Fellowship Scholarship next week.
Yes.
So tell me about the research.
Sure. So I developed a precision medicine platform called GliaVision. So GliaVision is basically, like I said, a precision medicine platform that uses artificial intelligence to determine the molecular and genetic characteristics of a glioblastoma tumor from a biopsy slide. And so this kind of stems from looking at the problem of precision medicine, which has been mentioned a few times today as kind of treating a patient's tumor on an individual basis rather than kind of generically. And I kind of found this problem to be twofold. The first part is, given a patient is diagnosed with glioblastoma or any type of cancer, how do you determine what are those characteristics that can be treated using precision medicine? Second part of the problem is, given the characteristics, what are the kind of drugs that we can develop? And so I saw that there was a big need for solving the first problem. How can we kind of determine these characteristics? And right now, I know there's a lot of work going on with gene sequencing and a lot of molecular testing. But my background is in artificial intelligence. And I saw that there was a huge use case for artificial intelligence in this application. So I was really curious to find out, how can we use artificial intelligence in this way? And so kind of the results of my research is that I've been able to match the results of genetic testing 100% for a few markers for glioblastoma. And so that's really interesting because with an artificial intelligence-based approach, it's basically at no cost. It's very rapid. It can happen in a matter of seconds rather than days. And it's just as accurate as some of the other methods. And so I think that's really exciting.
So I think there's a lot of excitement around AI and what it can bring, I guess, to change, advance, evolve, maybe even revolutionize medicine, especially research in cancer. So what part do you see it playing moving forward?
I think, so right now what we know about artificial intelligence is that it's really good at crunching data. So as we are exploring treatments for cancer in a very technological era, we're finding that there's a lot more push for data collection, which is one of the big things about the Biden Cancer Initiative, is that kind of bringing everyone together to kind of consolidate data is a big thing. And I think now that we have a lot more data, there's a lot of use cases for artificial intelligence in generating drugs for drug therapy, which I know is something that Pfizer might be working on, in kind of finding alternative pathways for expensive medical treatments. So a lot of my research is on how can we take expensive medical procedures and make it more affordable and more accessible using artificial intelligence, so democratizing healthcare. I think that's one big use case for artificial intelligence, especially as we explore how expensive a cancer treatment is, not only during, but for lifetime costs. And I think that artificial intelligence is really powerful. But there are a few problems with it right now. The biggest being, there's a lot of things that we can't explain. So artificial intelligence, while it may be really good at figuring out answers to problems, is not really good at having an explainability component to it. And so that's something that really needs to be improved in the field.
So a lot of people ask, okay, so in a future of artificial intelligence, what's the role of human intelligence, or HI, right?
Yeah. So there have been a lot of reports that show that given kind of a diagnosis type problem, so from a radiology image kind of diagnosing a type of cancer, the pure artificial intelligence and pure human is always beat out by a combination of artificial intelligence and human. And I think that's important, not only to remedy the explainability problem, to have humans be able to interpret the artificial intelligence, but also to develop a sense of trust. I know Vice President Biden was talking about how a sense of community and a sense of trust in your doctor is so important. And I think that's one thing that artificial intelligence will be lacking. And that's something that really needs to be remedied in the future.
So it'll be exciting for us to tackle that as one of the barriers moving forward.
Yeah, definitely.
So I also wanted to ask you, I want to do a quote first of something that you said a bit ago. The greatest method that our generation has of improving the future is making the world a better place through technology. And I look forward to a future of integrating medicine and computer science in innovative and unprecedented ways, making the world a better place, one algorithm at a time. So talk to me a little bit about how you see that playing out.
So I'm going to approach this from kind of a mentorship perspective. I think that, I have had the amazing opportunity to do all of this research because of kind of the background that I've had. So I went to a science and technology high school called Thomas Jefferson. It's like 20 minutes away from here. And I had an amazing opportunity to be mentored by a lot of my teachers there. And the scientific community, I've been able to be mentored, a lot by everyone in the community that I reached out to. So obviously, as a high schooler, I don't have a lot of background in things, and I am always trying to look for how can I explore more ideas, how can I develop my knowledge in these different fields. And I would always reach out to the scientific community, and that was always so helpful and rewarding because everyone was always so willing to be a mentor. And so my kind of future dream for, I guess, where I'm going forward is to turn the research that I'm doing into a company. Because I always feel like research is great as research, but when you really implement it and then get it out there for patients in an affordable way, that's when it really becomes real and impacting real people. So that's kind of my future goal for how I want to impact people and what I want to do with my research. And I've been backed by an amazing community, and so I hope that continues into the future.
So if you are thinking about kind of everyone in this room, many of whom have long-standing commitments and work as researchers and advocates, patients themselves or family members who are really all in this together, what, if we're passing the torch to you, do you want us to be able to do?
I think it's first recognizing that as young people, we have one unique advantage. We see the world in a different light. We don't see the world as it is right now. We see it how it can be in our imagination. We're not bound by current research and current ways of thinking. We're bound by the way things should be. And I think that gives us a very unique perspective of moving forward in forward innovation rather than just simply thinking about the current. And so in terms of passing the torch, I encourage everybody to be a mentor, to find someone to mentor in whatever field it is that you are in. If you're a doctor, pick some high school students to shadow you around. If you're a researcher, invite a student to do an internship in your lab. Just any way that you can support the future generation is my call to action to you. I think that, like I said, I've been supported by an amazing community and a lot of mentors, and I think that every student needs a great mentor to unlock that potential inside of them. And so I think that's the greatest thing that comes out of a sense of community, and that's what we're building here.
So I have to ask you, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but so you're off to your first year of college at Harvard. Tell us a little bit about what you've experienced thus far and what you're most excited and most worried about.
Yeah. I think the greatest thing about college is that it's really interdisciplinary. I've never been a person that fits into kind of one field. I'm always really interested in the intersection between different fields, how fields can benefit each other. And I think college is the time to explore that. I love being a learner. I think I call myself a forever learner because I hope that even as I continue into a career that I will always be as interested in learning as I am right now. And I think there's something that can be learned from being a forever learner, and always gaining knowledge from people who are more knowledgeable than you and people who are just starting out. So it's a really exciting time to be in college. Yeah. Especially in the technological era that we're in right now. I say that classroom learning is almost dead because you can basically find any type of information that you want to learn about online. And so that enables anybody to be able to learn something new.
Now, you made an interesting comment earlier around your view, kind of new to science. Talk a little bit about what you think your kind of novel entry might offer to the field of science, especially in cancer research.
Yeah. Like I was talking about interdisciplinary, I think the future of cancer research and the future of medicine is technology. So I think finding ways to integrate cutting-edge technology into oncology and cancer is really important. And that can manifest in a lot of different ways. It can be revolutionizing the way that we form a sense of community. It can be revolutionizing the way cancer is treated right now. There's just a lot of potential for the field in general.
Well, I think that you have set up the notion that we're in excellent hands from a research perspective. You demonstrate all the commitment and enthusiasm and passion, as well as an incredible track record at 18 years old. So I'm hoping that everybody together is going to wish you the absolute best at Harvard and in your quest to make an impact on people who have cancer. So thank you so much.
Thank you.